Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we have a little bit unusual format. So for everybody who came to see the actual review of the power bank, just jump to this timecode. And for everybody else who is our subscriber and who've been on our previous videos, I just wanted to tell you what I wanted to do some kind of videos like this for quite a while. So tell me in the comments, what do you think about this format? We have a lot of stuff which I wanted to share with you. Not necessarily it's sometimes in the format of the Yacht City Live regarding to the yacht, but it's something what we're using every day. I think it kind of makes sense for us to, you know, show it and share my experience with you. So today, what we have this light power bank, which advertised as light, but it's not as light as it could be. Even though Blue Yeti did send this thing for us to review, I can tell anything I want because we have no obligations in terms of what we're gonna tell and what we're gonna show. I'm not gonna do the usual format of review, how much power it can draw, how long it can output, and all of this stuff. I just want to share real use experience because we've been using this thing for how long it's been already. I believe it was like 3 months already.
Maybe, yeah.
So yeah, we've been using this thing for 3 months, and I have things to share about this thing, positive and negative. So in terms of specs, etc. So here's the specs. Just take a look at them, pause the video, see what you want to see. So let's go from the positive stuff first. I would say the most positive stuff is what we can finally use hairdryer. Even though we used it maybe like 2 or 3 times with this thing.
I'm so used to not using a hairdryer, so
Yeah.
no.
Here's the reason why. On our boat, we already have inverter system with a battery bank, etc. So it's pretty much like beefed up the whole system like this one with the battery, inverter, and everything else, but in the scale of the entire boat. And for some reason, when we use a hairdryer, it just shut down completely. So we cannot use hairdryer with our system. I don't know, there's something wrong with it. It just doesn't like using hairdryer. Everything else works fine. And the hairdryer is like draw with like, I don't know, like a kilowatt, maybe like 1500 watt at the top. So it's way below of our home system. And for some reason, our home system cannot withstand hairdryer. This thing can. This is amazing. So we finally can use hairdryer on our boat. Another thing, I don't know if you notice it, but in all our renovation series, we actually have been using this thing quite a lot. Especially when I was working here in the open hole, because we have a hole here. And it was really handy. Because how you can see here, this thing has like a lot of USB ports, which we were using a lot. And at the same time, it has like proper AC ports, etc. So the reason why we were using it a lot, because we were filming a lot, we were using our phones a lot, etc. and so on. And we need to charge all of this stuff. And sometimes we need to charge it several times per day. So working in the engine room, of course, you don't have USB chargers there. This thing was like incredibly handy. Like put a bunch of devices on top, like plug wires directly on this thing. And it was like our charging station for our units, and it could like charge our devices for the entire day, and at night we just put it on the charging to our main charging setup. It will charge to 100%, yeah, to the power socket, yeah. And in the morning it's charged to 100% again, and we can charge our devices again. So it's like was our working cycle every day during renovation. So during renovation was super handy. And again, I was able to use all my power tools down in the engine room. So being able not using power cords all the time was super handy. Like 10 out of 10 was like really nice. And this is exactly why you can actually see this thing hanging around all the time on all of our renovation videos, because we were using it. That was like super nice. Another thing which I'm using it right now after our renovation is done is I'm using it as our power supply for my stationary computer, Tower PC. Yeah, I would say it's Tower PC. Because my Tower PC actually draws a lot of power, let's say 300-400 watts when I work on it. It actually can drop our battery state of charge, like the main boat battery state of charge, quite significantly. And in the winter time, which we're still in the winter time, what can happen is when I want to work in the morning, our state of charge of the main battery is quite low. So if I want to work, I can just unplug power charging cable from this thing, and I can just use juice which stored in this tiny battery to power my computer. So this way I don't need to turn on a generator, so it's like less noisy. I still can have like 2-3 hours of work out of this power bank, which is not that bad. And as soon as it goes down, we will need to turn on the generator, and we will use the generator to recharge this battery and the house battery at the same time, which is, again, kind of handy.
You didn't mention that you also were using a lot of lights on an engine room, like external lights that are not connected to the main grid.
In one of the previous videos, I was showing you what we start using our LED lights for video filming, whatever it was, like our old lights, and they were all powered on by USB. And again, it was like super handy to just plug it in here. I don't need to, put like AC extension cord, put a like power brick, put adapter there, or like a bunch of extension cords. It was like really handy because everything was directly connected to this thing, which I really liked.
Same thing about that we now can do some renovation on the top without dropping the extension cord.
Actually, yeah, it's a good point. We not there yet because I mean it's not summertime and we're not going outside yet much because it's quite cold. But you're gonna go there today in any case. But the thing is, right now, if you want to have power upstairs on a flybridge, we need to drop extension cord. So we need to plug it in to this socket because this is the closest socket. Open the door and just put a freaking wire outside, which is like total mess. You cannot close the door, or you need to keep window open and just like you need to, do the freaking Jenga with the wires. It's
and
not
it's winter.
Cool. And it's winter, so yeah. If you want to do something cool outside with the proper power, you pretty much cannot, or you need to use extension cords, which we have a lot of them. But I mean, it's not as cool as just bring the thing to the place where you need to work, plug it in, and that's it. And another thing which I also wanted to mention, let's say when we cooking, we loading our house inverter quite a lot. So let's say when we cooking, we can load it to, let's say 60, 70, 80% of the maximum power output. And sometimes you just want to turn on something extra on. This is where this thing can be handy because you can just like disconnect it from the grid and use it as a standalone, and it will not create extra load while we're cooking. So it's kind of like an extra power boost to our house battery, which is amazing, I mean, I really like it in terms of extra power because, living on a boat all the time, it's never been too much power.
You have limits.
Yeah, you always have limits, and you always want to like, I want to do something else.
And also we fall in love with eating hot pot, and we don't have hot pot set up. So we made our own hot pot setup, which is more like less chunky when we use the battery.
I would say it was just a little bit lazy on us because it was winter time. We didn't want to discharge our main battery. Because the hot pot, you also need constant stove, which will constantly boiling water, etc. and so on. So it's constantly discharging. In any case, that's all good stuff which I can tell about what was in the 3 months. And now let's go to the negative sides because there is a lot. The most important one, which I don't really like, we have to turn off this thing every night because for some reason it draws about 500 watts. How you can see, this is a power draw from tonight, and how you can see every what it was like 7:15. Next was, come on, yeah, the app is like I'm trying to use the freaking stylus. It's a Russian name. Sorry, it's a Apple Pencil. Yeah, I'm trying to use a pencil. I just cannot. Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay, so 8:20. So I guess it was like 7:15 before, right? So now 9:20. Okay, it draws every hour 450 watts. So let's call it 500 watt every hour. I don't know why. Originally, I was thinking maybe was a heating inside because this thing has heating, which you cannot turn off. So when it's charging, when it's plugged in, and the battery is getting too cold, it automatically starts heating process, etc. We have 20 degrees inside. Like we have like 20 degrees. Okay, at night we have in the power saving mode, but the front room where this thing is located by default always have about 20 degrees. It's never getting too cold what it will use the heating. So it draws our main house battery quite a lot. So we cannot leave this thing on by default because it creates a lot of load for no reason. It's just like, just like chilling as it is right now, and it just like create loads. Can somebody explain why it create loads in a comment? I don't know, please explain to me, because I see it as a bug and not a feature.
Originally, it was not designed for this.
I mean, okay, if it's not designed to be standing on the charging port, like, why it's still drawing it? Like, what's happening? Okay, another thing which going directly from the same standing on the charging all the time. How you can see here right now, so it's showing 100%, it's fully charged, everything is fine. Check this out, it shows time remaining 99 hours 54 minutes, right? As soon as I turn on AC and DC output, it shows what remaining time is 68 hours. Why this is happening? It's happening because this thing, as any other inverter, has an idle consumption. What is it idle consumption? Because the inverter, which transforms 48 volts DC or whatever volts DC it natively using to 110 volts AC or 12 volts DC, which it outputs, it using some energy. And the thing is, it doesn't show anywhere here what it does consume any energy at all. But it does show what the time remaining dropped from 99 hours to 66 hours. So it understands what it does consume some power, but it doesn't show how much idle consumption it actually using. Why not show the idle consumption? I don't understand that. Why hiding all this information? And maybe this is exactly why all those peaks happening, like every hour it jumps to 500 watts, because the battery goes down and it's just like trying to recharge it. But in this case, every hour 500 watts, that's a lot of idle consumption. That's a huge idle consumption. And maybe this is why they're not trying to show it to us. I don't know, but I don't like it. Now, another thing which we wanted to say about this thing, I originally was planning to use it as surge protection. I forget what's the name of this device, we will put it here, but it's pretty much like a surge protection device for my computer, because sometimes when we use our generator, when the generator runs out of fuel, it kind of create extra load on our AC system, and our main AC inverter cannot automatically switch to work from the battery fast enough, and I have quite a big surge on my AC network. So what it looks like, it's like, like your lights start, flicker for a second. So it's like they're gonna go off and on, and you can see it. In my case, on the computer, I can see what my monitor's going off and on. And it's annoying because it's, first of all, it can damage my computer. So I was hoping this thing can actually solve this issue, but it is not. It behaves absolutely the same as our house inverter. So this inverter cannot actually protect from the surge, really big surges of electricity, of AC input. So if it is connected to the AC input and it's supplying something in a bypass mode, it will transfer all of these instabilities to the network, which is not good. Well, so yeah, I would say that's basically it. So this was our use case of using this thing for 3 months. Do we like to use it? Yeah, I would say yes. I would say we will keep using it. Unfortunately, we have to turn it off every time because it's self-discharging and drawing a huge amount of energy out of our network for no reason, not obvious reason. It has automatic power off, but in this case you need to turn it on when you need to use it, that's kind of mess. I don't really like this thing. And again, because it doesn't show the real power consumption, it's just like shows 0 for you, so, but it's like virtual zeros. They're not like actual power consumption rate. So, yeah.
But honestly, all these disadvantages that we faced, for most people won't be reason not to get it, because this product advertised for off-grid camping time. So if you go somewhere camping, you can take it and you have electricity with you.
Yeah, it's totally legit. It's just our use case, and this is what we wanted to share, because this is how we feel about this thing. What your use case, it could be completely different, and the things which we didn't like about this product could be completely not relevant to you. So, but because this is what we experienced, I think that's fair for us to share with you.
Definitely.
So yeah, let us know in the comments, what do you think about this new format? Do you want to know more about stuff which not necessarily sponsored, because we have a lot of stuff like 3D printer, which I got for $50 from marketplace, etc., which I really wanted to share. And if it is something interesting for you, just let me know in the comments, and we will just do this format more often. So we will do not only renovation stuff, because I mean, renovation is gonna finish soon and we still need to publish something else. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you want to see, what you like about this video, and see you in the next one.
Bye bye.
Bye.